If Kenyan government will not stop the abductions, I want to promise you that the US government will stop funding Kenya and issuing loans. The International Monetary Fund will also stop issuing loans to Kenya.
Tangu kuingia kwake katika ufalme akiwa ni rais wa 47 wa nchi kuu ya Marekani, marais wa hapa nchini Afrika wamekuwa kidondokwa na machozi, huku kijacho chembamba kikizidi kuatiririka. Wengi wakishangani wapi watakuwa kitoa msaada baada yake Rais Trump kufreeze na kutoa mekataa ya masaa 24 kunradhi, ndipo saa apate kutoa misaada yote ambayo amekuwa akipea foreign countries. Watu wengi wangekuwa kijiuliza ni jambo lipi lilipelekea Rais Trump kufanya maamuzi haya. Katika usemi wake, Rais Donald Trump alipata kudokeza amekuwa nchi ya Marekani imekuwa ikitoa kima cha shilingi 750 bilioni za Marekani ndiposa kupata kufund nchi za ugenini ambazo zinajumuishwa kwa Afrika na mataifa tofauti tofauti. Katika makataa aliyotoa, Rais Donald Trump alipata kumwonya William Samoei Ruto apate kustop abduction na vijana wote waliokuwa abducted kupatikana kurudisha makwao kabla ya masaa 24, la sivyo hatakuwa kifreeze na kukataa kutoa msaada ambao amekuwa akipea nchi za Afrika, Kenya ikiwemo ndani. Katika usemi wake, Donald Trump alipata kudokeza nchi ya Kenya imekuwa ikiwatumia vibaya na kutumia pesa ambazo wamekuwa kipewa katika kuiba na kufanyia vitu vyao. Katika pia makataa yake akisema watoto wote ambao ni wa politician kutokea Afrika atakuwa akiwarudisha wote makwao ndiposa wapate kujenga nchi yao na waache kutorokea nchi za ugenini. Tazama video hii na usisahau kusubscribe tukipata kuendelea. Hivi ndivyo Rais Donald Trump alipata kusema.
If Kenyan government will not stop the abductions, I want to promise you that the US government will stop funding Kenya and issuing loans. The International Monetary Fund will also stop issuing loans to Kenya.
The World Health Organization has become nothing more than a corrupt globalist scam paid for by the United States but owned and controlled by China. When the China virus reached our shores 3 years ago, the World Health Organization disgracefully covered the tracks of the Chinese Communist Party every single step of the way. For this reason, it was my great honor to terminate America's relationship with the World Health Organization. The United States was paying the World Health Organization almost $500 million a year. When I dropped out, I took it out of there. And for 330 million people, even though China was paying only $40 million for 1.4 billion people. So we had 330, they have 1.4, and we're paying more than 10 times the amount. That's typical for the United States because they don't know what the hell they're doing. Unfortunately, crooked Joe Biden foolishly re-entered the World Health Organization at the full price and without any negotiations or reforms. And now Biden is pushing to bypass the United States Senate to enter a pandemic treaty that would surrender American sovereignty to the World Health Organization, again controlled by China. The draft treaty would require the United States to send vast quantities of medical supplies to other countries in the event of another pandemic, and it would push aggressive censorship of free speech on issues of public health, just like they censored the truth about the Wuhan lab, which I said that's where it came from, remember. Under the next Trump administration, that treaty will be immediately terminated. I would not allow public health to be used as a pretext to advance the march of global government. That's what they're doing, globalists. The United States will withdraw from the corrupt World Health Organization, which, in light of its utter failure on COVID, they had a tremendous disaster on COVID, deserves to be completely abolished and replaced. Then I will work to forge a new coalition of nations that are strongly committed to protecting health while also upholding sovereignty and freedom. I want to thank you very much, but I also want to say this. I could have renegotiated the deal. I could have gone into the World Health Organization for $25 million. Biden didn't take that deal. He's paying almost $500 million. They were so anxious to get the United States back after I terminated the agreement. They were so anxious to get it back that they offered me a deal, $25 to $30 million. And I said, no, I'll wait. Could have gotten it for less, but I didn't want less at that point. We were paying almost $500 million. Could have done it for 25 to 30. Biden took the $500 million deal. He knew he could have gotten back in for less. So why did he pay so much? But that's just one of many things that are wrong with our country. Thank you very much.
Ganga za mganga humwacha mgonjwa na matumaini, na katika hili wagonjwa wote walioathirika na ugonjwa wa ukimwi wakibaki bila matumaini. Kama anavyodokeza gavana wa Makueni County Mutula Kilonzo Jr. alipata kusema impact yake Rais Donald Trump ilipata kusikika chini ya masaa mawili baada ya kuondoa msaada aliyokuwa akitoa katika taifa la Kenya. Tazama video hii, pia usisahau kusubscribe tukiendelea kusonga.
The announcement by President Trump on the withdrawal of aid, particularly through USAID on matters health, is a national crisis which must be addressed quickly. In Makueni alone, we have 269 workers who will lose their jobs immediately, because beginning end of last month, they are all supposed to be home, and they are catering on very serious issues on TB, HIV, and malaria. Although malaria is not a big concern for Makueni, but TB and HIV are issues of concern for us. Although we received an assurance that Kenya has stock for antiretroviral drugs for the next 15 months, we still have no plan, a transitional plan, for how, after the 15 months, what is going to happen. A huge population in all these counties is dependent on these drugs. And I am extremely worried that in the absence of those drugs, we're going to start losing people. The stigma that had gone away will come back. And more importantly for me, and because of the statistics I have seen in Makueni, teenage infections between the age of 24 and 35 have increased tremendously. And therefore, this admission of these drugs, the continuous counseling, because that is part of the team, is very critical. The Council of Governors have had a discussion, and I hope that that discussion can be fast-tracked very quickly to national level, because 54,000 Kenyans are going to lose jobs. And a host of hospitals, some in Makueni, will most likely close because they are losing up to 10 members of staff or nurses that were under the American program. I have seen serious protests in the US today by both Republicans and Democrats on matters US aid. Those Republicans and Democrats, senators, are saying that they are the ones to dictate how their taxes should be spent. And if, like one of the Republicans who was mentioned, that she was a refugee and was a beneficiary of USAID. I mean, if they are saying that, we should speak even louder and say that it is against human rights to withdraw such services without notice. We don't know what we're supposed to do, and strictly speaking, it's not because we wanted, they were helping. And I think that the national government ought to find a method, a diplomatic method, with the President of America and the American administration to have a transition. That transition will save lives, and that transition will give us an opportunity as a country to find another method. I disagree entirely with President Uhuru Kenyatta, because if that was his thought when he was president of Kenya, he should have said so when he was president. He can't say so when he's out of office. And he left us with all these deals. These deals were done when he was in office. And therefore he can't laugh at us, because I think the president was laughing at us. And he was laughing at people he used to serve. The people who are being assisted and are alive because of the antiretroviral drugs since 1990. We can't laugh at them, and I've seen them. So this is a matter of concern. Health is a big issue, and I think that as a nation, we must come together, close ranks beyond our little parochial politics, and discuss the matters of health.